Today we are going up to the 94th floor of Chicago 360 in Chicago. We went twice, once in the afternoon and at night, to see the lights of the Chicago skyline. At the end of this video you will able to see the Chicago amazing skyline with lights. Soaring 1,000 feet over Chicago's legendary Michigan Avenue, 360 Chicago is one of the city's most iconic attractions. Located at 875 North Michigan Avenue on the 94th floor of the John Hancock Center, 360 Chicago, formerly John Hancock Observatory, offers breathtaking views of Chicago's lakefront, magnificent skyline, and 4 neighboring states. After only a 40-second ride in North America's fastest elevators, guests can experience what Travel Leisure magazine voted one of the best views in America. 360 Chicago is the only place where locals and visitors alike can enjoy Tilt, Chicago's highest thrill ride. This one-of-a-kind marvel tilts guests out and over the city from the 94th floor observation deck and gives up to 8 visitors at a time the most exhilarating views of Chicago. Relax at the observation deck's bar cafe, offering local favorites, large cocktail selection, and front row seating to the city's best views from 1,000 feet high. We will put the link in the description section for the ticket prices.
Seconds, 94 floors. Enjoy. Thank you.
看出来是有人来的。好。有，天上都高兴了。
We can see the Lakeshore Drive and Lake Michigan. We have made a video on Lakeshore Drive. This area is Navy Pier. We have made a video on this area. Please check out our video. This is the tilt at Chicago 360. Ake in the breathtaking Chicago skyline from 1,000 feet above ground on the city's highest thrill ride, Tilt. The skyline glitters under a cloak of night while you tilt outwards to a symphony of city lights dancing beneath you. It's an electrifying trip you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video.